You are listening to the Walking Leader podcast, episode number 259.
Hello, I am your host, David Guerra, and I welcome you back to another episode of the Walking Leader podcast. As always, the Walking Leader podcast is for you, current and future leaders, to help give you the tools to help you succeed as a leader in your organization as well as in your personal life. The tools of the Walking Leader focus on getting you up and out from behind your desk and out onto the front lines where those you lead, because that's where they are every day. They're in the trenches, day in and day out. And as a leader, attention leaders, in case no one told you, I'm telling you now, it is your responsibility to know how the battle is going, and there is no better way to know than to be out on the front lines where the bullets are flying. So get out there. And now, without delay, let's get this episode started. Knowing yourself is another key component to the level of success you're going to achieve in your life. That level of success is only known to you. You have to, because if you are basing the level of success on what others think or say, well, you're doing it all wrong. Actually, if you find yourself saying or doing things for the shock value and not for the genuineness of just being you, you're also doing it all wrong. Now, you do not truly know yourself, but through the words and thoughts of others, thus, again, you're doing it all wrong. The same can be said if you find that making other people cringe or laugh at others through your actions, well, again, you're doing it all wrong. See, I can tell you what you're doing is wrong all day. I can do that all day. There's plenty of examples out there. There are just too many examples of people doing things because of the thoughts and actions of others. Those that have fallen under the thumb of others have long since let go of the notion that they know themselves. They know they can kid themselves all they want, but alas, they continually find themselves stuck under the thumb or knee of someone else, only to question themselves yet again, what have I done and how did I get here? That is the amateur mindset at work. The amateur mindset would rather be all things to all people. Why? Simple, because they like the attention. They like the cheap laughs. They like being the center of attention at the expense of other people. Sadly, the amateur mindset individual is either wrapped up in the moment or have been doing it for far too long that seeing others not make fun of other people, well, is alien to them. Yeah, they're out there. You know who they are. To the individual with the professional mindset, making fun of others or not at the expense of others is the norm. It's the expectation they have set for themselves and they've set for others. It's the standards. Again, professional mindset individuals don't make fun of others and don't exploit others for their own, or at the expense of others. The division here is clear. Those that truly know themselves and live by the fact knowing exactly who they are and how they will be received and perceived as individuals that will stop at nothing to get where they want to go, well, that's a good thing. They know that. While those that do not truly know themselves will stand long to suffer with the knowledge that to get anywhere is to do what it takes as long as it keeps others entertained or under their thumb. See, there is a difference, folks. There is a big difference here. See, the way one with an amateur mindset believes, behaves, and lives only serves to have them think and believe that they're good at everything. Soon they become nothing more than just news reporters that regurgitate the facts, and soon others will see them as just as mouthpieces with no level of expertise whatsoever in any field. Hell, they're not even half-assed jacks of all trades, and most certainly are masters of none. That is the amateur mentality and mindset at its finest. Because every day it is a race to outdo themselves from the day before for fear of losing their audience. And the audience that they feel that they have to push themselves further and further. They push themselves not for themselves, but for the possibility to do it all over again tomorrow, to make fun of others, to put other people down. See, the downside of all of that is that with the amateur mindset individual, the rent is due every day. And every day it gets harder and harder to pay that rent. They have no choice but to slip deeper into a dark world that is no longer their own. All because they want to think that they're relevant. And they want to be relevant, but it's not. Sure, they have convinced themselves that they know what they are saying and are fully in control of what they are doing. Sadly, they've only convinced themselves. The ones that are truly pulling the strings know fully well that occasionally they have to give the amateur some leeway and latitude, but not for too long. They love watching the game, controlling it. They love to see the amateur working herself up in a frenzy, and of course, all for naught. The amateur mindset individual does not know themselves nor their limits. They do not know, and because they have closed themselves off from anyone with common sense and an unbiased objective thought, the amateur continues to work themselves into a hole only to realize where they are and what has happened later. Unfortunately, for those that do not know their limits, well, they will realize where they are and what has happened, usually after they find themselves either in the emergency room or in prison. Now, you do not have to take my word for it. All you have to do is just ask any prison guard or emergency room nurse, and they will most certainly tell you the truth. They're not going to pull any punches. They want to tell you. They will tell you without fail or missing a beat. Most of the unique population comes from those that were just wanted to get one more laugh. One more shot at paying the rent. One more time at going just a bit too far. For 1 second, most of them forgot their limitations and went for it anyway. I'm talking about the people in the ER, the patients in the ER, or the people in prison. Of course, even an even small population did it out of ignorance, but all of them will say they thought they could get away with it. That's usually the case. Thinking that one could get away with it, whatever it is either a misguided attempt at exerting confidence or just plain old cockiness with a bit of luck that just ran dry. It is certainly a fine line to decide which one it is. I would have to say that initially it starts off as confidence, and because the individual has not yet landed in the ER or in the judicial system, they continue. And they continue by increasing the thrill, the excitement, and most of all, increasing the audience. They live for that. That's what feeds them, is increasing their audience. Then as time goes by, the confidence that's now been completely replaced by cockiness, aka overconfidence. Well, it may be appealing in some cases. Okay, well, in more of the immediate satisfaction type of cases, that instant gratification. However, with professionals, it is all about the long haul, the big picture, and there is no place for being cocky. The cocky individual will get a swollen head and become an egotistical individual and forget what they once were. See, the amateur mindset individual will try to use the cockiness as a sort of, quote, fake it till you make it, end quote, scenario. Sadly, the amateur will be quickly found out as someone who used his or her cockiness as a tool to get close, but the immediate gratification is all they got. Having an amateur mindset is like those swipe right, swipe left apps on your smartphone. They want to look at they want to be looked at on their surface and never truly wanting anyone to peel back the layers and see what's inside of them. See what is lacking on the inside. Then, folks, be prepared to go jumping back or go running very fast into the night when those layers are pulled back. When they're finally managed to be peeled back, the amateur mindset individual will be out for blood, for they have just been discovered for who they truly are. Superficial. Or as I like to say, all show and no go. Now, I'm not saying all amateur mindset individuals are like this, but don't be surprised when you run across one or two or more in your life. Close or far away, stranger or friend or family, whatever. They're out there. Personally, I've only been scared 2 times by such individuals, not because of what they were capable of doing to me or anyone else, but because of their proximity to me. Not close in distance, but close in relationship. One is a family member and the other one is someone else, someone I truly believe to be a friend. Now, a word or two of advice. When it comes to family members or close friends, the sooner you can distance yourself from those toxic individuals and their relationship with you, the better. Those cocky individuals have left their confidence far behind. That to go back and look for to go back and look for it will be like trying to catch a fly with a pair of chopsticks. And of course, you are not Mr. Miyagi. So get that out of your mind. Those cocky individuals may taste success in the short term and will move on from one short-term conquest to the next. They will boast about their victories, all while never truly seeing all that they've been doing for so long is either spinning their wheels or just driving in circles. No matter how long or how far, the amateur mindset individual never gets their true satisfaction that comes from actually applying themselves. No matter how far they go, how long they've been doing it, they're never going to get that true satisfaction. And when they apply themselves to something or someone that makes good use of their strengths and weaknesses. Yes, I said weaknesses. The kind of weakness that professional mindset individuals use to build from, grow from, and learn from. That kind of weakness usually becomes a strength in those professional mindset individuals. It becomes a strength because, unlike the amateur mindset, the professional knows that weaknesses are something that has not yet become a strength. Sadly, or should I say pitifully, the amateur recognizes weakness as a tool that others can use against them, and therefore works hard to keep that weakness hidden and never truly works to change it to a strength. That's why they get upset when you peel back the layers. And before you ask, how do you know why they do not do that? Because it means they have to work at it. Why do they not like it? Because they have to work at it. And as I tried to make it abundantly clear, to the amateur, work is a nasty four-letter word, especially when they are trying to put in the work for all the wrong reasons. The professional mindset individual fully understands and is deeply intimate with their strengths and weaknesses. The professional knows who they are not because of what they learn, know, say, and do, but for the things they do not know, they cannot say or do because they are not yet learned. The professional seeks to change and challenge themselves by growing emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It is through the growth that confidence also grows. That very same confidence is the foundation when it comes to knowing yourself. The ability to truly know yourself comes in handy when it comes to reaching and exceeding your limits. Knowing yourself allows you to know your stepping off point. What it is. That stepping off point is that point in time when you're ready to launch on the next process that will ultimately take you to achieving your next goal. As you are fully aware of not just who you are, but what your limits are and are not, what you can achieve is truly limitless. The ability to set a goal, create a process, and achieve that goal is fundamental to the professional mindset. Professionals know from the start what they are capable of and what they are not. They also know they have to put in the work in order to turn what they are lacking into something that they can now have as an excess. Having the ability to turn a deficit into an excess is what keeps the confidence level at bay. You will not find too many professional mindset individuals with any form of cockiness. Now, of course, they will have a high level of self-assuredness, but it will stop short of being cocky. The confidence of a professional mindset individual is based on being modest and is, quote, happy about his accomplishments and does not need anyone else's approval to make himself feel better. The cocky guy needs and looks for compliments because he is so insecure, end quote. Well, that's it for this episode of the Walking Leader Podcast. If you have any comments or questions, please don't hesitate. Drop me an email at dave@daveguerra.com or leave me a voice message at the Walking Leader hotline at 956-720-0060. Or reach out to me on Twitter at Dave Guerra, all one word. That's the @ symbol, Dave Guerra. That's my name, and I look forward to hearing from you. Also, I want to thank you for your time. I do appreciate you making it to this point of the episode. I am David Guerra, author of the books The Walking Leader and Great to Follow, and I invite you to subscribe to the Walking Leader Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, and Stitcher. You can find all those links on the daveguerra.com website. Lastly, I want to remind you to always go beyond the grind and go beyond the hustle, because that's the only way to be the walking leader and a leader that is truly great to follow. And until next time, I thank you.
The Walking Leader podcast is a David Guerra presentation.